Alright, how's everyone doing? Welcome to From Z to A, Alphabetical Interviews with Zach Anderson. I am Zach Anderson. Today we are here at Sage Sound Studios for the 32nd edition of Monsters of Acoustic Rock, and I am joined by Hatfield. So thank you so much for being on the show.
For sure.
So I'm going to ask you, excellent. So I'm going to ask you the difficult questions as long as they have something to do with the letters of your name. What would you say is the, was there a particular moment that you realized that you wanted to do music as a career or just in general for a living?
Yeah, you know, it's funny, before I knew what they were when I was little, my mother and my brother had, my brother's 10 years older than me, so he and my mother had a collection of records, vinyls, and I was, curious what they were. I just liked the pictures and everything.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, he probably had played them for me before, but I remember one day him playing me, it was a Kiss album.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe I was 3 years old, and I just remember thinking that they were the only band. I thought there was one song and one band.
Right.
I thought the whole world, there was just a band and a song.
Right.
But it was cool. After that, I was notorious for banging on stuff. I would always have them play the song. And so drums is where I started, and I didn't start formally playing drums until I was like 15 years old.
Okay.
But I definitely aspired to be one, from probably from that moment.
Right.
And I would do the whole living room concert on the couch with the pillows and everything. And so that was the thing. And I think performance, a big thing, like with Kiss, they kind of brought that performance aspect, and they were like superheroes because they had the makeup and everything, so that was part of it probably. And then when I did start playing drums, it just went from there,
Nice, excellent.
Yeah.
Now, who are, other than Kiss, who would you say are your biggest musical influences or inspirations?
Still Kiss. No.
Yeah.
No, I got away from Kiss pretty early. Yeah. But as far as, drums was my thing for a while. I started when I was 15, and I was in bands as a drummer for 15 years. And the thing that was tough as time went by was juggling 4 or 5 people. Yeah. And also being the guy who had to lug the gear,
Yeah.
So that's how I got into this solo thing. And definitely huge influence would be Pearl Jam, Ed Vedder, his singing, for me as a vocalist. John Butler is more of a more recent, over the last 10 years, 15 years, influence. And I get a lot out of the friends that I've made, the locals, and even some of the traveling I've done and playing, people I've met, bands I've linked up with, and some collaborative work that I've done. I feel like I've grown a lot.
Right.
It's almost like when you spend time singing or writing a song with somebody, I tend to come away with some new tool from it. Right. So.
Excellent. Nice. Yeah. Is there anything that's key or necessary that you must do in order to prepare for a gig? Do you have any pre-show rituals?
Drink heavily.
All right.
No.
It's the most common answer.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of vocal warm up and stuff, which it's funny. I didn't get into formally learning how to sing for a while because it's like you sound like maybe you're missing a couple chromosomes or something. I don't know. You make all these noises and people walking by the bathroom at a gig are kind of like, what the hell is going on? That was my thing for a while. I guess I've gotten away from it a little bit. Maybe honey is probably a big one for vocals. And just trying to keep my fingers warm. If they're really cold sometimes, like if you're playing on the street,
right,
or if it's a night show outdoors, it's some kind of finger warmth. My daughter's big on the warm pads she uses like at the bus stop. So so that's been part of it. But just kind of keeping the blood flowing basically for my vocals and my fingers to play. Yeah.
Cool. And now tell me about your most embarrassing moment you've had on stage.
So I used to work with this booking group in New York, and I was doing a show. They had set me up on a gig. I didn't know any other artists, and I didn't know they always have a sight person on scene, so it's a different person every time. So when I went to the gig, she introduced herself, and it was cool. We had a whole kind of group thing that we did. All the bands kind of were able to mingle before the show and stuff. So that was neat. So it was a nice setup to the show. They did a good job as a booking group, and during my set, a couple times throughout, I was like, I just want to say thanks to the other bands, and thanks especially to Lucy. She's here on the scene representing the music group, and then later on, maybe toward the end of the set, I was like, just want to give props again. Did a great job, Lucy. You really kept things flowing. I get off stage, she's like, dude, my name is Sherry. I was like, can I get back up there? It's like, we got a correction, folks. I don't know if that would be worse. Like, just let it fly, you know. Yeah, it was I felt like I was doing like doing the solid thing there. So, and it was funny, you know, that was kind of early in me doing the solo thing. So it was like 6 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And up to then, just my whole life, I was bad at remembering names. It was in one ear and out the other. If I didn't really get to know you,
Yeah.
that's, you know. But I realized like this is maybe going to be detrimental down the road. So it was almost a good thing because it was a little skin knee, but I focused on getting better at remembering people's names.
There we go.
So it's just good to be with you here, Bill.
Yeah. All right, so now the opposite of that. Tell me about what would you say is your biggest highlight so far this year musically?
Well, you know, it's funny. I've always wanted to get down to like the more southern west area of Connecticut, Fairfield.
Mm-hmm.
They got some great venues down there, and I've always wanted to get down there and I've done like New York or further,
Yeah.
or up north, or obviously I'm from New Haven, so a lot in that area. And this summer, just on a whim, I sort of bumped into a friend, and he was like, I'm doing this open mic down there, so I went down and played, and it was great. It was like lots of people come out to hear music, but there's tons of great, talented local musicians that come out on a regular basis, and they all know each other and stuff. So the first night I went down, the place I played, some people that were there were coming to me saying, oh, we do this one, or we do that one on Tuesday, or this one Thursday, and it wasn't just open mics, it was like people booking stuff, you know, looking for an opening act, or talking about a regular Friday night at a certain venue or something. So the reason that's been the highlight, it's not necessarily one specific thing, but that night, meeting that crew, and then going more often down there, I mean, that opened up this whole year, it seems. You know? So I started, I'm working with like this duet now that's going to be rolling out more next year. I've been working on some radio stuff, so it's just kind of like the networking aspect.
Yeah.
And I never did much of that musically. I either would bump into someone or meet someone in a room on a stage at a show. So I'm more getting into that end of it. We're following up with people and establishing connections because they build, you know, and they really go places. So, and it's cool because the things that come out of those are better than the random, if you just a shot out of the dark, which I don't say that's not a bad idea. If you shoot an email to some producer or something, that's fine. I mean, it's worked for certain people in certain times, but it's always cool and organic when you meet someone in person, you have a connection, and then you build on it. So definitely going down that way finally, after meaning to for years, was a high point this year. That was, I guess, June. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I like to end all my interviews with 3 interesting or random facts about yourself that many people might not know.
Well, they didn't know for years and years, but I'm missing a front tooth.
All right.
So I always had the little flipper, you know, the little flip jobby. I just, for one reason or another, just haven't really been wearing it. But I busted that out when I was 12 years old, so it was kind of interesting. I was showing off. It was, I think, some Catholic girls getting off their school bus. I was on my super broken, beat down trick bike, and I tried to cut the turn too hard, and they laughed hard. And I was lucky, you know, one tooth. But it was funny, I was singing one night, and I didn't have it in, and some friends of mine afterwards were like, did you break it on the microphone? I was like, that doesn't happen to people. So that's one thing. Another thing is, my last name's not Hatfield, which I guess people obviously that know me from way back know that, but people that I meet are always surprised and kind of wonder why. But it started as a band name. So this was originally me and a bass player and another friend, and we named it Hatfield Hill, which was the name of this road in our area that, you know, we used to hang out on growing up. And when I get introduced, like for open mics, especially when I would do them alone, it was always Hatfield, Mike Hatfield. It was just always Mike Hatfield. I had one guy, he would always be like, no McCoys coming up, no McCoys. So I would correct people for like the first year, but then it just stuck, and then I kind of like, you know, it rings better, and it's just, you know, I just like that idea because it's a project, it's a music thing, so that's, and the third thing is, God, I don't know, I mean, probably I guess that I'm a drummer, you know, because a lot of people don't realize that, which is funny, because I did it for so many years, but this has been the only thing I've really been doing, singing and playing guitar for the better part of a decade, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. So thank you so much for being on the show.
You got it, man.
If you want to check out Hatfield, please visit the link below. And now we'll cut to a performance from Hatfield. So thanks again, and we'll see you soon.
Bet you're leaving, baby. I didn't know, wanna believe. Now the air is clearing out, and I can say and think about all those reasons that you hate, and you burn me at the stake. Where those reasons on my heart could have told me, baby, from the start. It was you that burned both things. It was me that would have to bear till I break in front of you. And I found out what you let him do. I found out what you let him do. I found out what you let him do. I found out, oh Lord, what you let him do. Let him do, yeah. Got me in this prison cell so you can forget about my smell. Wash me up like yesterday. Go along, I'm on your merry way. Got yourself a brand new man. You're just putting in his hand. Pretty feather for his cap. Always thought you were more than that. It's clear I've been playing the fool while you fix yourself with his tool. Guess you thought you found your match. Baby girl, you could have told me that. I found out what you let him do. I found out what you let him do. I found out, no. Get the pain that you